When I was initially approached to do this talk, two things crossed my mind. Number one, this amazing group of young people that had the most infectious excitement about them. It was unbelievable, and it was contagious. Number two was, why me? I'm familiar with the program. I am familiar with some of the speakers, but I really never thought of myself as remarkable enough to warrant such an invitation. Apparently they did, and so here I am. And so that brings up the next question, well, who am I? Well, my name is Drita Perezic, Neshchip, Drita Perezic. I'm the daughter of first-generation immigrants to the United States of America, originally from Malsian Bishkoder, present-day Kraja in Montenegro. I am also the leadership and executive management senior advisor to the Minister of Internal Affairs of this country, his deputy ministers, his general secretary, as well as the chief executive officer of the police inspectorate of Kosovo. I've been on contract with the Justice Department's ISITAP program roughly since about 2011. My work in the ministry is challenging. It's the largest ministry in this country. It includes a complex layout of departments, divisions, and independent agencies. And prior to that, I served on the staff of close to 24 general officers in the United States Army in various capacities, ranging from senior linguist to pre-deployment training subject matter expert, to a faculty member of the Naval Postgraduate School's Leader Development and Education for Sustained Peace program, to a special advisor, and finally a senior political advisor. And I started doing this in earnest in 1999. While I am now on what we call the softer side of the security sector, the majority of my work was spent in Kosovo on the hard side, as a member of the command group of the senior U.S. military commander to command U.S. and multinational forces here, but also with regional command authority, as part of the U.S. contribution to the NATO-led Kosovo force, commonly referred to as KFOR. My work with both ISITAP and the Army has taken me to places like Germany, Italy, other parts of Europe, Albania, Macedonia, Montenegro, and absolutely throughout the continental United States of America. So for over a decade and a half, I've had the honor and privilege to serve my country, the United States of America, as it assists my father's people build a functioning democratic society grounded in the rule of law in what I think we'll all agree is a very complicated context. So how did I get here? Well, academically, my background is international relations with a specialization in international security and human rights. I completed grad school in New York, but when I was young, my big dream was to be a fashion designer. Now, while I like to believe myself pretty fashionable, I think if you ask my national advisor, she'll disagree. However, I like to think that that is what I am. I think we all do agree that the security sector and the fashion industry are not necessarily two joined industries at the hip, if you will, right? I did chase the dream, however. Many years ago, I got a college degree in fashion design, but it's not where I ended up. I certainly did not ever dream of contributing to the development of the security sector in a post-conflict environment in such complicated times. But again, here I am. I did not dream about flying in helicopters with military commanders or learning libraries full of military doctrine, or pre-deployment training exercises, or building complex organizational structures and systems, the art and science of leadership, negotiations, drafting national strategies on things like counterterrorism, trafficking in persons, right? Organized crimes, narcotics, community safety, and then struggling to implement them and building the international and national networks of stakeholders necessary to do that. I didn't dream about all those things. So when people ask me, how is it that I came to this field, the only thing I can say in earnest in answering that question is I fell into it. Maybe sometimes I think I was made for it, but I certainly did not dream about it. I simply answered an ad in the newspaper on the way to work one morning in New York City back in 1999 as the war in Kosovo was raging. The ad read something like, United States Army seeks persons with knowledge of the language, culture, and history of the Balkans to assist in peacekeeping. I thought I was going to be Mother Teresa. I thought I would do my part to repay my country, America, right, for saving my parents when they needed saving. I was born in Italy, and my parents came to America in 1971, when I was about 2 months old. And at the same time, I thought I would make my father proud by going back to his roots and helping his people. My first assignment was not anywhere near the work of Mother Teresa. As a matter of fact, it was with a counterintelligence unit in the middle of northern Albania while the NATO airstrikes were taking place. Apparently, I was, at the time, one of the few Americans who could speak Albanian, right, and carry a security clearance. Later, I would work with a range of units from special operations to implementation commissions and then commanding generals. I resigned all of that in 2009. I became a mother. Now, I did that rather late in life as compared to my contemporaries back in New York. But in 2011, I came back here to do research for an academic program. And while here, I was asked to join the ICITAP program. And so once again, I literally fell into it. So sometimes life will open doors, and you have to decide, are you going to walk in or stay out? And it apparently seems that I keep just walking through those doors. So how do we get to success? When people ask me, what do I attribute my success to? The answer has little to do with education or career aspirations. Frankly, there are two people I believe prepared me for what I fell into. My father, who comes from a very rural village. Now, my mother had a middle school education. My dad has the unique honor of having repeated the 3rd grade twice, right? I am literally the daughter of a katunar, okay? And I know that here this has all sorts of connotations for people. But I need everyone to understand that for me, that is priceless. It is precious, and it is a point of deep, deep pride. Jam nderuar te jam qika katunarit. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Now, in my day, the measure of success for a girl like me was to get married to a good boy, from a good family, and perhaps become a secretary, right? And when I expressed to my parents this desire to go to college, their biggest concern was not academic ranking. It was not the cost of tuition. It was whether or not going to college would negatively impact my chances of getting married, right? And now I know that for some people today that sounds crazy, right? But 25 years ago, and quite frankly more than 25 years ago, it was the way it was, even in the middle of America. Now, as much as I resented the backwardness of my family, listen, after all, they were born in the Stone Age, right? And here I am living in this huge metropolis. I must say that my father should be credited with any and all academic and professional success I may have had. My father, the Malsor of Manhattan. And then there was my professional mentor, and I'd be remiss if I did not mention him. A dear friend, an amazing teacher, United States Army War College retired Colonel Edward P. McCarthy. My father, the Malsor of Manhattan, lived duty, honor, and service in such a profound way. And Colonel McCarthy made sure that I did the right thing simply because it was the right thing to do. And it was literally that simple. These two influences made it so that I could advise countless generals and ministers in an atmosphere of trust, professionalism, sacrifice, discipline, and most of all, honor, mender. So what are the lessons learned? Look, for some of you, my story is an interesting one, right? Perhaps it's even inspirational. And for others, it's not inspirational or interesting at all. I accept that up front. But when I agreed to speak here, I really wasn't sure what the producers really wanted from me. So sure, right, I'm a woman, right, a single mom in a non-conventional career path, right? But the central question for me was, what could I share with all of you that would be of value that you already have inside of you by the very virtue of your birth? Si katunar, si qytetar, s'ka lidhja, right? So here is what the Malsor of Manhattan and the retired colonel taught me that I wish to share with you. Number one, you always take the hard right over the easy wrong. Always. And I know in a place like this, it is rather tempting, and for some of us, rather easy to bend the rules, not follow the rules, call up a cousin or a friend or something and get something done, right? You take the hard right over the easy wrong. Innately, we know inside of us the difference between right and wrong. We don't have to ask anybody. Okay? So you listen to what's inside here. Do not rush to failure. Rome was not built in a day, for the love of God. Okay? So you don't have to have all of the answers right now. You don't have to fix this, unless like you're the doctor over here, right? That's doing hard. You need to know the answers. But other than that, do not rush to failure. Okay? Okay? Your word must always mean something. Okay? Don't just run around promising and saying you're going to do something and then you don't do it. It doesn't work like that. If you make a promise, you keep it. And the second you realize that you can no longer keep that promise is the second you better let everybody that will be affected by that know. It's the right thing. Be smart enough to know that you don't know everything. Okay? We all like to look like we know what we're talking about, right? And we're on top of our game. And no, if you don't know something, have the moral character to stand up and say, I don't know. And it's okay. All right? And then the last one is sometimes falling into something is better than actually planning it. Now look, Ed didn't teach me that, and my father did not teach me that. I taught that to myself. In closing, let me say that my father and Ed certainly are proud. Yon krenar memua. I also believe that my mother, in her own unique way, even though I didn't marry the good boy from the good family, and I did not become a secretary, is also proud. And with that, I bid you good night. Thank you.